2018 BMW i3 Review. The good points of BMW i3. Futuristic style. Smooth, electric drive. Tight turning circle. Low running costs. Quality build. The bad points of BMW i3. Expensive to obtain. Small boot. Jittery ride. The BMW i3 will be the groundbreaking small electric car that spearheaded the German brand's launch of their ICE brand for electric vehicles. It's a concise but pricey hatchback to rival Renault's Zoe and Nissan's Leaf, however with more premium polish than either. Buyers can pick between the pure electric i3 and range extender versions, which is why you'll pay reduced of around £3,000. The latter adds a little petrol engine utilized as a generator, not to drive the wheels, as a way to charge up it if it's getting low. This i3 Rex version proves loved by Brits, mainly because it removes a lot of the range anxiety of running an electrical car. In autumn 2017, BMW added a whole new, sportier i3S model, which costs another £3,000 again. It too is available being a pure EV or with the product range extender option. By March 2018 BMW had sold 10,000 i3 hatchbacks inside the UK alone, with 2017 being its best-selling year up to now, indicating the growing availability of electric cars. Remember, as the BMW i3 is certainly a low-emissions electric car, it qualifies for your plug-in car grant which lops £4,500 over purchase price. This is excellent news for buyers, removing many of the sting of choosing an electric-powered car. BMW i3, lightweight construction and electric drive. One with the key differences between i3 as well as its rivals is its exotic construction. It uses materials more usually seen in supercars than city cars. Every i3 is built from a mixture of lightweight aluminium with the chassis and carbon fiber reinforced plastic for a few structural parts and the entire body panels. This lightweight approach makes it more cost-effective and boosts performance. Against the clock the 062 mph time is 7.3 seconds or 6.9 for the i3S, turning it into as quick several hot hatchbacks on account of the 170 horsepower electric motor with 250 Nm of torque or pulling power, Rogues available instantly. The better i3S musters 183 horsepower. What may be the EV range like with a BMW i3? The range for that electric-only car is 186 miles, as outlined by official European lab test figures, or 124 miles in additional typical driving conditions. To achieve the best range, you should select Eco Pro or Eco Pro Plus driving modes, which adjust climate control, throttle sensitivity plus much more to eke out more miles per volt. You'll have the capacity to charge your i3 at a domestic 3-plug socket in around 10 hours, or like 30 minutes for the 80% charge using one with the fast charging stations arriving all in the UK. If that range puts you off, the BMW i3 range extender having its 650cc petrol engine improves the vehicle's range around 206 miles between charges. The diminutive 2-cylinder petrol engine adds a modest 34 bhp, but doesn't add extra performance. Actually, the number extended model is slower, taking 8.1 seconds to acquire from 062 mph, as there's more bulk to hold around. The i3S range extender can be slower, at 7.7 seconds compared to 6.9 seconds to the pure electric i3S. How does the i3 drive? Like any automatic, the BMW i3 has two pedals, an accelerator plus a brake, but could easily be driven in normal conditions with the accelerator pedal. Regenerative braking is needed to harvest energy under deceleration, slowing the vehicle when the driving force comes away from the throttle. At higher speeds the automobile will coast with little or no retardation, while at lower speeds the lowering of speed once you lift off is a lot more dramatic. With a little forward planning, it implies you can essentially drive using only one pedal. The i3 handles just like a typical BMW, with feelsome steering, little body roll along with a balanced chassis. Only the firm suspension enabling sharper imperfections to produce their way into the cabin lets the package down. The ride is often rather jiggly. Otherwise it's a refined, quiet and comfy car that is to be a viable proposition for several on-a-car households. Ownership experience. Technology is standard for the BMW i3, using a smartphone app allowing the motive force to monitor the automobile's status from afar as well as set it to charge up or heat the cabin remotely, a godsend on frosty mornings. Planning your vacation can also be done through the comfort of your respective phone, and routes sent right to the sat-nav in the auto. In case the i3 doesn't expect you'll help make your destination over a single charge, it'll advise you to modify to Eco Pro or Eco Pro Plus mode and locate the nearest charging point en route. Owners may buy a bespoke BMW i wallbox with regards to home costing from £570. That may charge the auto from 0 to 80% in 4 hours. The i3's home charging point is warranted for 3 years, just like the automobile. The verdict. The BMW i3 hatchback is often a soundbite that comes heartily recommended by us. Get past your initial high cost, also it's a brilliantly capable, genuinely green electric car that's well suited to town chores and, in range extender form, longer journeys too. Watchful BMW i3 hatchback review what exactly this electric car is much like to live with. Silent but rapid acceleration. Pure electric i3 fastest. Choose Rex for extended range. There are two fundamental choices when choosing the BMW i3, seeking the pure electric version and the range extender model that nearly doubles the driving range. In autumn 2017, BMW launched the i3S, some sort of hot hatch version. It too can be obtained in all-electric EV or range extender forms. The pure electric BMW i3. Whichever i3 model you decide, it's the best electric one that's fastest. The 062 miles per hour sprint takes only 7.3 seconds, and this brisk, zero-lag acceleration makes all the i3 an excellent sparring partner out and about. To put that electric performance into context, we have now drag raced the i3 against an M3 using a track, and yes, it didn't always lose. Acceleration is very smart, approximately 30 miles per hour, within the urban cut and thrust where an i3 may well spend much of their time. Even if you move out in the confines in the city, the i3 is constantly on the impress, with real-world performance that doesn't feel underwhelming right around motorway speeds. Only on German autobahns are you going to lament your vehicle's 93 miles per hour top speed. The BMW i3 range extender. The range extender i3 uses precisely the same 125 kW 170 horsepower electric motor since the electric version, but adds a 650cc dual-cylinder petrol engine producing 34 bhp and keep the batteries topped up around the move. It does add 150 kg for the i3's weight, however, blunting performance in the pure EV version. It effectively doubles the electric i3's 80100 mile range, and CO2 emissions are simply rated in a modest 13 gkm. You're less likely to notice the engine kicking in, Remember, it's got no connection for the wheels, it's purely there to charge the batteries, except at low speeds, the location where the faint murmur in that cylinder thrum may be heard behind you from the a quiet cabin. The BMW i3S. Launched in autumn 2017, the Warmatch i3S model has a more powerful electric motor that can horsepower to 183 horsepower from your 170 horsepower inside the regular i3. Performance is startlingly fast for a car. 0.62 miles per hour takes just 6.9 seconds for that electric-only version, and throttle fact is, literally, electric. Quick-witted, sharp drive. Narrow tires limit outright grip. Amazingly tight turning circle. If the i3 looks unconventional, then what's underneath that striking body's even more so. This baby BMW is based on the carbon fiber tub, not dissimilar for an F1 car's doing it great strength plus a useful weight saving to counter the added weight on the batteries. Even such as lithium-ion cells, the main chassis and drivetrain module only tips the scales at 365 kilograms. Storing the batteries low down from the body means the center of gravity is exceptionally low, and also the i3's handling is nimble as being a result. Steering is light and fast-acting, and your vehicle turns into corners with eagerness. This is usually a relatively tall car and its particular passengers sit high up, yet there's not excessive body roll to communicate enough. We've even driven the i3 at Brands Hatch race circuit, which not merely allowed us to find out its reactions in a slalom and lane change maneuvers, but around a few of the circuit's famous bends, where it cornered flat and fast. Be careful in slippery conditions, however. Those super skinny tires don't generate much grip, which enables it to relinquish what purchase you've got on damp or freezing roads. It's advisable to drive gingerly in cold or wet conditions in the BMW i3. The standout feature in the i3's driving experience could be the regenerative braking function, as well as ability to gradually bring the BMW to some halt without making use of the brakes. With enough foresight, along with a recalibration within your feet, the ferocity on the effect can't be altered. By anticipating and just lifting from the accelerator, it's an easy task to drive the auto without touching the brake pedal whatsoever. Once you're utilized to it, you'll have the capacity to drive for miles in stop-go traffic without braking once. A minimalist delight. Futuristic feel in cabin. Light, airy, roomy. From driving the BMW i3 seems to feel entirely otherworldly and instantly familiar at the identical time. There's a lot of familiar BMW switchgear and instrumentation, and also the pedals and switches all feel exactly like those inside a 3 Series, but several of the features are presented and arranged within a slightly alien way. The iDrive controller remains, as well as its functions are displayed on the regular 6.5-inch screen. Really the only difference is between your 1 here as well as a 1 Series being the actual i3 information offered. It's a straightforward system to navigate, whether or not it may take new users a couple of extra hours of familiarization, and houses thousands of functions and knowledge all in one place. A column-mounted rotary gear lever for your automatic transmission ought to be intuitive, rolling it forwards engaging drive and twisting it back selecting reverse, but anyone used into a conventional auto box will discover themselves choosing the wrong mode once in a while. Thanks to your large amount of glazing, and predominantly light natural materials used throughout, the i3 feels exceptionally spacious. There's an organic and honest feel for the cabin that sits well using this car's eco-credentials. Many on the materials used look intentionally recycled. The dashboard, using its layered elements, stretches out far prior to you, the windscreen base seemingly in another postcode, plus the lack of transmission tunnel and minimized center console only adds on the feeling. Using a clear carpet between front seat passengers, this can be useful extra storage area. Opt for your large interior trim plus the natural eucalyptus wood running through the dashboard causes it to feel even brighter. Quality is proper up there with larger or even more expensive models inside BMW range. The i3 possesses an excellent variety of adjustment with the seat and steering column, hence the perfect driving position is readily achieved. i3 largely a comfy car. Seats adjust and support well. Ride can be very bumpy around town. Judging BMW i3 comfort levels isn't so simple. Much like any other electric car, they're skewed slightly with the fact there's no engine noise to cope with. That means occupants less difficult, more mindful of wind and road noise that inevitably filters through on the cabin. It may not be any worse than in a conventional car, however you'll see it a lot more clearly within this car. That quiet cabin includes that occupant conversation is easier plus much more relaxed though, as well as the gentle thrum from the range extender's engine doesn't intrude an excessive amount. Those 19-inch or optional 20-inch alloy wheels don't help digest the lumps and bumps within the road, and sharper imperfections show the i3 for being slightly more rigid and firmly sprung than you may think necessary for a compact car. Considering most examples will pay out their lives trampling along broken city streets, that's a disappointment, and improved high-speed handling is scant consolation. The interior can be a bright space though, with a good amount of room offered, as well as the rear seats prove happy with adequate headroom and enough legroom for adults to take a seat behind one another. Just remember there are merely 2 rear seats though, without the need of seatbelt provision for the 5th passenger. Comfort is guaranteed within the front seats too, but whilst the flat bases won't prove problematic out, the not enough side support could be an issue as cornering speeds increase. All i3s have decent standard equipment. Ample selection of extras, but don't go wild. DAB, LED headlamps, other gadgets on all i3s. Standard BMW i3 hatchback equipment. The era of stripped-out German premium cars are happily over. Even if you tick no options boxes whatsoever, your BMW i3 will come having a raft of normal equipment. DAB radio for hearing more channels. LED headlamps for brighter illumination. Preparation for regular AC or DC rapid charging. Electric mirrors and windows. Multifunction tire with stereo controls. Automatic air conditioning. Sat-nav with real-time traffic information. Rear parking sensors. Heated front seats. Remote locking. 19-inch alloy wheels as standard. We would caution against a few of the costly upgrades to alloy wheels. The elevated curbside posing power may look really good, nevertheless they damage the ride, be more pricey and also carry quite high replacement costs, a fact which is to be lost on many owners until they suffer a puncture like we did. The BMW i3s comes having a few extras in the regular i3, including black roof lining, sport driving mode for sharper throttle response, body kit with high gloss black inlay in the front spoiler and wheel arch extensions, 20-inch alloy wheels, 10 mm lower sport suspension, unique floor mats. Choose in one of 4 interior packages to personalize your cabin environment. Atelier, loft, lodge and suite specs bring a sportier, modern or natural look and feel towards the materials inside. It's an excellent way to generate the i3 reflect your values and outlook on life. BMW i3 hatchback optional extras. There's a lot of options to the BMW i3, from basic metallic paint from £550 when new to parking packages and niceties, for example eucalyptus wood. Choose the options that really work for your lifestyle, but don't overload is our advice. BMW i3 inherently strong structure. Let down by not enough driver aids. Carbon fiber tech will help inside a crash. The BMW i3 could be the first car through the German manufacturer not to ever achieve a full 5-star crash test rating for many people years now. According to Euro NCAP, the absence of speed recognition technology, rear seatbelt warning and also a poor cause pedestrian safety is the place that the i3 lets itself down. Low-speed impacts are taken care of with the metal chassis, leaving the CFRP untouched and never requiring repair. Should the shell be badly damaged, or any on the high-voltage components breached, it can need attention coming from a specialized repairer. How many ICE-fix car seats can I fit inside a BMW i3 hatchback? As our graphic above shows, you'll find 2 ICE-fix attachments from the rear seats of an BMW i3. With rear hinged back doors, it's quite an easy task to fit child seats to maintain your brood safe. A very roomy cabin for a little car. Space for 4 adults in comfort. Boot not too big though. Ride behind one and also the combination of contrasting paint finishes, a tall stance and tapering side shows that BMW i3 practicality is not going for being a strong point. But just as the very best books, this can be a car not to get judged by its cover. From driving this car feels huge, despite its 4-seat capacity. Understanding that's down with a number of factors. The dashboard having its layered effect stretches far out in front of your heavily curved windscreen base, the glass itself almost oversized for any car with this stature, and also burly rugby-playing adults won't rub shoulders. There's no transmission tunnel, adding to your spaciousness in the cabin, and rear seat passengers can fit comfortably behind other adults. Deeper side windows for the rear hinged back doors mean even children will get a good view out, also it never feels claustrophobic. The tilting front seats, in addition to those rear hinged doors, ensures access for the back bench is an easy task too. The BMW i3 can be a surprisingly compact car, with a whisker under 4.0 meters long. That's bang on Supermini size. Yet it's quite wide at 1,775 mm from mirror to mirror, and that is how BMW seems to squeeze in a great deal interior passenger space. The i3 is very easy to park as a result of its upright stance, good view out and the one's perky dimensions. You can order acoustic parking sensors back and front as part with the park distance control choice for £170. Or you go the total hog and order the reversing assist camera for £360, but we'd question the demand. Luggage-wise there's a smaller space beneath the bonnet at the cab end, along with the hatchback at the trunk reveals 260 liters of space. It's not much of a very big boot, owing on the batteries stowed within the floor, but it's exactly the same space in most versions on the i3. Regardless of whether you've got the range extender engine or otherwise. If that's insufficient, folding the back seats liberates an extra 840 liters, bringing the overall capacity as much as 1,100 liters. It is very easy to flop the spine seats forwards to supply the luggage space. They don't fold flat, but you are able to easily accommodate a major box such like a dog crate together with the seats folded.